Yo, guys, welcome back. Today we are going to revisit Ines bossing setups. Yes, I did showcase content in a group, but we are also going to revisit her solo bossing build, which has seen some changes from my original setup. And after I'm done yapping about Ines, I will show the setup from the Lunar in our group. His name is Remaze. I know many are asking me about an update on mobbing builds, and that will come tomorrow. Now, let's get into it. So, one major change that we have made to the build is going to be involving maximize range. And what we have done is we have taken this down one level from it being maxed out, which in turn is going to get us less negative skill power modifier, which in turn is going to help us deal more damage. But there is a trick to this. You still want to get your 7 bounces of your first ability. With that being said, we are going to acquire this through our inversion buff quantum domain. So we will need 7 stacks of this, and on the 7th stack, we will get the 7th bounce. Just happens to work out like that. It's kind of crazy. So how do you get those 7 stacks before going into the fight? Well, it's quite simple. When you spawn in, just start spamming her 2 as many times as you can on the way to the fight. And normally I'm already at 7 by the time I get to the boss. So let's get the 7 now.
Don't you dare run away. This is awesome, huh?
And now let's use our 1 and see how many bounces we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just like that, it is the same thing. So first, let's get into the module setup for the group. And this is going to be a little different because Luna provides so much crit chance and she also provides cooldown. So we are running some things differently when we are running with Luna. And mostly we are taking out the huge crit chance mod being skill insight, and we are slotting in front lines for more critical hit damage. So that's the big change in the mods. And as far as the reactor, we do not need cooldown on it. And we did test this in a open world area, so I could double check. And this still gets us to under 1 second cooldown. So you can use a reactor with Colossus and crit damage, a reactor with Colossus and tech damage. And it's going to obviously add a lot to your damage because of the buffs that Luna gives you. As for everything else, the Secret Garden and the Slayer set are all staying the same. And now probably what many of you are really here for is going to be the solo setup. And not much has changed here besides the change to maximize range, which we discussed at the start of the video. We have also taken focus on tech out and replaced it with tech specialist. After some testing, it turns out that as long as you are at 1.2 second cooldown or lower on your floating lightning, you will not run out of stacks. I noticed that just changing the cooldown off of your reactor will put you at 1.3, but doing like this and keeping cooldown on your reactor and slotting in tech specialist will put you at that 1.2, and with that, you will not run out of stacks. As for the reactor, like I said, cooldown, I feel, is a must in pretty much all circumstances when solo, and Colossus damage as well. Now, with that being said, I get a lot of questions. Sen, will this reactor work? Sen, will that reactor work? A lot of reactors will work. You will be able to defeat the boss. She does very well against the boss. Your main concern is going to be Colossus. And if you have Colossus Tech, that'll work. If you have Colossus Electric, that'll work. If you have Colossus Crit Damage, that'll also work. Probably if you have cooldown Tech, that'll also probably work too. She is very strong against the boss and is not too much to worry about. Moving on to our components, we are using the Slayer set once again. Here, you do want a decent amount of MP recovery, your max MP, your MP recovery in combat, and your MP recovery modifier. And as for your weapon, we are using the Secret Garden. The main thing here is to have your unique ability upgraded all the way. I know a lot of people ask me, what's in your Secret Garden? What did you use for cores? All that stuff. And none of this really matters. We are only shooting it 4 times at the start of the fight to put the inversion debuff on him. We are not using this to deal damage. I will show my Secret Garden. This way, I stop getting the questions. So I have firearm critical hit damage, firearm attack. Same thing for my regular substats, firearm critical hit damage, and firearm attack. So I have rounds per magazine, and bonus firearm attack versus Order of Truth, because I would mostly use this as a mobbing weapon versus Order of Truth in Wave 20 of Void Erosion. As for our mods, this is the setup that I run. Like so, nothing special. Now onto our Inversion Reinforcement, and probably the most important thing here is going to be the electric focus rounds paired with the enhanced focus rounds. 4 bursts from your Secret Garden will fully put on all 5 stacks of bypass immunity, which is going to all attribute resistance minus 4% for 30 seconds. So that is minus 20% attribute resistance on the boss for 30 seconds. As for some helpful survivability, you can slide in the heightened sensory cells and void resistance. And that covers the updated Ines bossing builds. Any questions or suggestions about the builds, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe is appreciated. And be sure to come stop by Twitch when I'm live. We have a great time testing, building, running bosses, and just having good laughs. Thanks, guys. Peace.